Hello and welcome to the Sunbirdcrochet podcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Welcome to another episode of me talking about my crochet and knitting projects. Although today it's just all crochet, at least what I've been doing. And today I have for you one finished object, one work in progress, and yes, I'm organized today, 3, 4, 5 CALS with C and with a K, so crochet alongs and knit alongs, and some podcast recommendations. So this is my finished project. It's a Hexagon cardigan. I was following the video tutorial by TL Yarn Crafts. And basically you are making 2 hexagons, and when you fold them you already have one side of the cardigan. This is granny stitch. So the beginning of the hexagon is right here in the armpit, and then you make it big enough to fit your arm through, and then I was sewing it together. Or actually I crocheted it together here with single crochets on the wrong side, and then I had one half. I did the same for the other side, and then you extend on the back and on the front. And I highly recommend the video tutorial by Tony, and I will link it down below. And I must admit though that I wasn't following it I was doing my own thing in between. And I also added a border with cotton yarn. Oh, you see, this is like a acrylic mohair. It's not real mohair, but it's a fluffy effect yarn with little like tweed bits in between in lovely colors. The main yarn is grey, and then these colorful apricot, burgundy and pink dots in there. And then I've added a lavender colored cotton yarn border. I first did a granny stitch row, and then I've made half double crochets into those, and only at the bottom here I've added some shells. And that's about it. I will insert a little video of me twirling and moving around with it. I still have to weave in some of the ends, like here. Not too many though. It's just so hot today that I don't want to have it in my lap today. So no crochet for me today, just talking about it. I was using a 6mm hook size for the granny stitch, and for the border I went down to a 4mm hook size. I've made decreases here on the shoulder and on the other side as well, just once, so that it pulls it together at that part of the body. And that's my finished hexagon cardigan. Something to keep me warm in winter, I believe. So let's move on to works in progress. As you know, if you are already a subscriber and you've watched the past videos, I am working on my Lazy Polka Dot top, a pattern by Clarissabeth, and I have made lots of progress on it. I might have told you a couple of lies, although I wasn't aware of it. I told you the construction would be on one side, it's the rows like this, and on the other side it would be like this. No, it's both sides are like this. And I'm working with a 3mm hook size, and that's a little bit smaller than the recommended hook size. Not, as I said last time, a little bit bigger. So let's just keep it real here. Now, I'm going to show you the front. I'm using bamboo, cotton yarn, and I'm very happy with the drape, I must say. Let me just find the proper front here. There you go. This is the front. I've joined it in the middle already. I've done it twice. First, I made it like a visible overlay crochet join, but that was too bulky for me and too uneven, and so I ripped it back again and I just sewed it together. So this is the front bit, including some shoulder shaping here. And I'm working at the moment on the back part, the back panel. Now you're supposed to do the back panel in this pattern as well, but that takes a lot of more time than your usual plain double crochets, US terms. So what I'm doing for the back panel is I'm cheating. Sorry, Clarissabeth. I'm cheating. I'm just making a plain double crochet back panel. And I'm testing a pattern, but I want to have a garment which will fit me. So I'm making notes on the pattern as it is. And I don't want so much bulk on the back. Even though it will have positive ease, I've started with the recommended stitches for the size 6, which I'm making, but in between I've went down one size. I've decreased the stitches just a little bit down to the next size, and that will give my bum more space, but my back won't be that bulky. Won't have that fabric bulk. Still quite a lot of fabric, as you can see, but once it's joined, it will be a lovely oversized top. The only thing is that if I make it the same height as the front panel, it will be a cropped top, because it's very wide, but not very deep. So I will join the panels, I will do the neck shaping, the border, and that will pull it a little bit together again. And then I will see how far down this panel will go, the top. I'm not into cropped tops at my age, but I do want to wear it, so I might extend it, giving it a little border down there. Maybe a ribbing. It has to fit with the theme, but this is like my own thing then. Yeah, so I'm very happy with the yarn, by the way. It is not very stretchy, just a little bit. It's soft because of the, well, I suppose the viscose content. And it does have a nice drape because it's also cotton in there. So yeah, love it. Now that's all about my making, finished and in progress. But now I would like to talk to you about MKALs, CALS with a K and CALS with a C. So let's start with that. First of all, I'm sure you are aware that Westnet, Stephen West, has announced his new mystery knit-along, the shawl, which he's running this knit-along every year, and he's coming up with a new design every year. This is a mystery because he's giving out the pattern in 4 parts, and you don't know what you're knitting unless you watch the videos to the end first before knitting. So this year's CAL is going to start at the beginning of October, but last week he has already posted the requirements for the yarn, for the notions, the needles, and he has uploaded some, or he's selling the kits for his knit-along. This year's shawl is called Go Go Dynamo, and if you're like me, your imagination is already going wild what this might be. I didn't order a kit myself from Westnet, that is. I ordered a kit from Das Mondschaf, or not a kit. I ordered, you need 2 colors, and from each color you need 2 skeins, so 200 grams of each color. And I've ordered my 2 colors. I've ordered a lovely deep blue from Das Mondschaf, which is called, the colorway is called Tardis. And then I've ordered a lighter gray with a bluish purple haze. That's called The Wall. So I will work these 2 colors together with a lovely contrast, and there will be a mohair there. I'm not going to do mohair this year. Instead I'm going to I'm going to hold a strand of glittery yarn from Kremke's. I think it's called Kremke Sparkles. I've ordered this. It's also in a dark blue, even almost black, with sparkles, with stellina in it. Then I will hold it double with my main color. So that's the plan for my Westnet shawl this year. I start with it in knitting, and then I get frustrated with my speed or lack of speed, and then inevitably I move over to crochet and I do my own crochet version of a shawl, and it might happen again this year. I don't know. We will see. Also about this MKAL, Jalin, the Lecker podcast, made by Jalin is her handle on Instagram. She is hosting an MKAL support group. It's a WhatsApp group, so you have to message her on, I suppose, on Instagram or on YouTube, but I think Instagram would be better, and then she will add you to the group on WhatsApp. Now, what else? There's another make-along happening. I haven't written it down how long it will go, but I believe it started now. It's run or hosted by Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet, and her MAL, so Knitting and Crochet Welcome, is called Fancy Yarn MAL. The idea behind it is that we all have got these, to us, fancy yarns, the skeins which we don't want to touch because they have special memories, or we can't get another one easily. It doesn't have to be expensive yarn, but it has to be special, so fancy to you. So if you use that, and there is a Ravelry group hosted by Hannah as well, so that's another make along, and Hannah is such a beautiful soul. I'm sure we will have lots of fun there. And maybe you can double dip if you are joining the MKAL by Stephen West and you're using yarn from Stash, which is fancy, and you can, you know what I mean, you can enter into Hannah's make along as well. Or I don't know, I think that's a possibility. And for crochet, Martin from the podcast or Martin, who is knit365.blog here on YouTube, and who is the Welsh_Tanner on Instagram. I'm sure you know Martin. He has a collaboration with Toft. Toft is based in the UK and they are famous for their crochet amigurumi animals, and they have now got a new pattern coming out, and it's the Martin bear after Martin. And Martin is going to host a bear along throughout September, and that includes a Zoom chats every Tuesday at 7 p.m. UK time. So I believe the first one will be next Tuesday already. You will post the link to the Zoom, I suppose, on Instagram. So if you don't follow him already, do so. And yeah, Martin Bear by Toft, I believe they are selling the kits now, or at least soon. Then one more knit along. This seems to be rather knitting dominated. However, I'm watching the Fleece and Harmony podcast. They are based on Prince Edward Island on the east coast of Canada, and they were promoting the Rowan knit along for the Snowflower cowl or shawl. It's now starting. It's a free pattern. You just have to register on the Rowan website, and you get the free color work, knit charts, and the instructions to make your own snowflower, either a cowl or a shawl. And it's beautiful. I've registered, and I'm not sure if I will be able to do this and the MKAL at the same time, but I am saving the pattern of the knit charts at the moment for later. And maybe, you know me, I will probably crochet with the color work instead. We will see. So now, Brown Cow, I am going to talk about new to me podcasts here on YouTube. And at least one of them is actually a new podcast. So let's start with the channel HaciendaHomemade. This is Abby Welker, and she is talking about her knitting and her crochet projects. Actually more about crochet, which I really appreciate. And she's living in the south of the US, and it's hot there, and she's showing bits of her life and her cooking. She has a beautiful house, and she's doing wonderful projects. And yeah, I don't know, I find her very relaxing. And also I watched her, she's taking online courses, and one of them was for gouache painting. And I love to paint myself. Not myself, I don't paint myself. I love to paint, which is a hobby of mine. So I was thrilled to see like a soul sister. And another one, I think that he's very well known. His handle here on YouTube is, I think it's on Instagram as well, Knitphen, KNYTPHEN. His channel here is called The Mingled Yarn Cast, and he is knitting a lot. I don't know if he's crocheting. Not much, I think. Or he was crocheting a little cheap amigurumi, but he's mostly knitting. He's a teacher, and what I most enjoy about his channel is when he's going on travel with his courses, with his pupils. And last time he was traveling around Portugal. And have you been in Spain as well? I believe so. Yeah, definitely. So he's showing his experience, adventures while he's traveling around, well, Europe last time, but he's also been to Japan and whatnot. And he's showing us his knitting projects. So that's very fun. Last but not least, I would like to talk to you about a brand new podcast. This is Punk Rock Unicorn. It's an indie dyer based here in Germany, and their podcast is, I'm afraid, it's in German. Yes, it's so much fun. I know that lots of you are actually talking German, or you can at least understand German, so maybe you would enjoy this podcast. So maybe even though German is not your first language, you might enjoy this podcast. The podcast is run by Dea, the owner of Punk Rock Unicorn Yarns. Got a twitch in my eye, sorry. And my nose is stuffing up. I wonder if it's the mohair, the fake mohair. Oh, the podcast is hosted by Dea, who is the owner of Punk Rock Unicorn Yarns. And she is so much full of energy, and she is selling her yarn at Stephen and Penelope as well, and she is putting together kits for the MKAL as well, which I've already mentioned, the Mystery Knitalong, and she is offering her own kits for this MKAL as of next week. So first she's letting Stephen sell his kits, and next week she's going to sell Halloween themed kits for this MKAL. Oh, that's exciting. But back to the podcast. She just posted her first podcast episode. It's called Knit noch so ein Podcast. So not another one of those podcasts in English. Play of words here. And she's hosting this podcast together with Sarah. Sarah is the crocheter of the two. And Dea is the knitter. And we're talking about their projects, we're talking about what's on their radar. I very much enjoyed their first episode. I think it was at least an hour long. It felt like sitting down with friends, and yeah, I'm so excited that someone here is going to talk about crochet, and it's not just the old granny stitch blanket kind of thing, but for me it's important that crochet gets a spotlight, and not your run-of-the-mill crochet, not your kind of bad reputation crochet, but the wonderful, beautiful crochet. Crochet can do so much more than just the granny stitch. Not dissing the granny stitch, the granny is beautiful and it has its purpose and place in this lovely world of yarn, but there's so much more to discover, and this is what's keeping me going with crochet. I find it very inspiring to learn new techniques. That goes for knitting as well, of course, but I'm not so talented with knitting, so my focus is on crochet. And I am really appreciating that Dea and Sarah are giving both yarn crafts a spotlight in their podcast. I very much enjoy their podcast. They are unique, sparkly, beautiful souls. Go and watch it, even though it's not your language. Just enjoy it. So yeah, that's it. That's everything. Incoming. Yeah. So last time I've shown you fabrics and fabric patches for a project bag, which I was planning for the autumn. And this is Fable. The theme is Fables. And it's already finished. Here it is. It's humongous. On the one side we have the theme Little Red Riding Hood. And on the other side we've got a little frog which gets really pished. Drunk. Drunk is the word. And I'm loving this bag. Now, I'm going to post a video at the end of this of my mother and I making this project bag together within 6 hours. And yes, I must credit mostly my mother for it, because she is doing all the sewing. I'm just doing the cutting and the pinning together and these things and the ironing. And she's doing all the sewing. So it's a collaboration, but it's one where we don't get frustrated too easily, so it works for us. Now that's one thing. Another thing is that I've ordered something from Dear Prudence Berlin. They are offering jewelry made out of wood. It's laser cut wood. And I've ordered, it comes in a little bag with even a little stitch marker here, as you might be able to see there. This thing here, out of focus. So I've bought a brooch. And it's a bear and a child hugging each other. This is from an Etsy shop. As I said, they're based in Berlin, and they're doing this. I think you have to buy it and then they're making it. They don't have it in stock. That's the word I was looking for. But yeah, have a look at, well, they do have a Facebook and an Instagram under Dear Prudence Berlin, but you can see best their products on the Etsy site, which is also Dear Prudence Berlin. Or Dear Prudence, just Dear Prudence. You will find it. Very funny things as well. Now that's something which came to me miraculously somehow. And only one more thing, which is semi-crafty. I've ordered myself a new calendar for next year, and while I was looking through it, I thought, where is my calendar for last year? Or this year, now 2024. I found it right here. And I must say that I haven't entered anything except the addresses and the birthdays. And I wasn't using it at all. And the only thing I wrote in here was on the 1st of January. And I wrote down on one page, on the 1st of January, that today begins a new life. Obviously, I wrote it down in German. And that my father died on the 29th of November last year, and that my mother was in hospital on that day concerning her heart, and that my boyfriend wasn't calling me, and that my new work was scary, and that everything was too much for me, and what else is going to happen, and that I want to be happy again, and that I'm so tired. So now that's the only entry I've made in this book, and it's sad. It's sad. I don't want this book to be a sad book. I want to fill it with other things, and I will. But first of all, I thought, wait a moment, 2024, what happened to 2023? You see, there is a theme. In 2023, I've bought this big book, and this is one of the Prue yarn stickers, which we always send with the yarn, by the way, but I'm getting sidetracked. So this is a diary which I started, and I've added, I think I showed it to you before, I was adding some collages and little poems and things. So I've gone through old magazines. I was cutting out things like this picture of Queen Victoria visiting her zoo llama or alpaca, and things like sayings like, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. Or courage is knowing it might hurt and doing it anyway. Stupidity is the same, and that's why life is hard. Things like that. I'm just filling this book with what I find which is interesting to me. Things out of newspapers where I don't want to keep the whole magazine or newspaper, and also recipes, like recipe for mince pies or luxury Cornish crab tart. Not that I like crab, yuck, but I know someone who does. So yeah, and that's what I was doing today as well. I've continued doing this, how to properly make the breadcrumbs around your schnitzel, and a leek and onion tart recipes in here as well. Then a bookmark with that's out of a magazine as well. This is Humulus lupulus, otherwise known as hops, and with an explanation card on the back as a bookmark. Here I've got out of a magazine how to crochet around your coat hangers, things like that. So this is just as an inspiration maybe for you. If you've got an old calendar, don't throw it away. Use it as your art journal or your memory journal. Maybe that's something you would enjoy. Like here, that's the flower clock by Carl von Linné. That's the clock. At what time opens which flower, and that's a little blurb about Carl von Linné. And this is an Alice in Wonderland stamp which I own. Yeah, just adding this and that and making this a useful book. And so I actually am collecting, I'm cutting out as I go, and then I'm collecting them, the little bits and bobs in in a folder, and then I'm putting it in here, like this one here. That's a pattern for a knitted hat. Which I really liked, and just images which I like drying flowers, things like that. So just that's everything I've got for you today. Making the best out of bad memories, turn them into good ones. Highly philosophical. That's all from me for today. Let me invite you to watch this project bag making video, which will follow right after here. And keep well, keep safe, keep crafting, keep traveling, keep going out there. Don't be afraid of people. Where this was come from? Probably because I haven't gone out that much recently. But I just had a thought. Sorry, excuse me, of a tangent. I was thinking that it was last night. I was going through my Instagram. I was browsing through all the channels and I was looking at all these creative people, and I thought, the world isn't too bad if there are so many creative people out there, each following their ambitious crafting hearts, and yeah, maybe going out there, meeting new people isn't such a bad, scary thing. Maybe they are friends you haven't met yet. Or maybe they're complete idiots. Yeah, just don't be afraid of things. If you're scared, do it scared. Oh, blabber, blabber, blabber. I hope that you will enjoy at least the new podcasts, if they are new to you, and that we are going to see each other soon, maybe in one of the CAL groups. You never know. I might start all of them and fall behind, and then, you know, take it easy. See you soon again. Bye bye.